Welcome you again to the second and the final day of Perceptron-2023, sponsored by Vista Intelligence and co-sponsored by Punjab National Bank. This afternoon, we are blessed with the presence of Dr. Bhabotosh Chanda. With this, I would love to call our head of the department, Maharaj Swami Dhanagamananda ji, Maharaj, to felicitate Dr. Chanda. With this, I would love to take this opportunity to introduce Dr. Bhabotosh Chanda in front of everyone. With multiple decades of experience in his field, Dr. Chanda retired being the professor of the ECSU department of ISI. He, however, continues to be the visiting professor at IIT Kalyani, and also we feel honored and proud to be his students when he came as our guest lecturer in the second semester in RKMVERI. He is also a centurion when his research publications are concerned. The list of national and international awards in his name goes on and on. A few of them are Young Scientist Medal Award by the Indian National Science Academy, 1989, UNDP Fellowship during the period 1989-1990, Diamond Jubilee Fellowship Award by the National Academy of Science India, 1992, Fellow of Institute of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineers, 2000, Fellow of the National Academy of Sciences, India, 2002, Best Paper Award in the International Conference on Visual Information Engineering, 2006, First prize in the international competition on table detection, page segmentation in the 9th International Conference on Document Analysis and Recognition, Curitiba, Prana, Brazil. Competition September 23-26, 2007. Fellow of the International Association of Pattern Recognition, 2008, and many more. With 9 books in his name, it is always hard to find enough words to describe Dr. Chanda's accomplishments. Now, I welcome him to our podium to import a drop from his oceanic knowledge. Sir, if you may.
Thank you for the introduction. Mistake. 15 minutes. No, it will get available. This podium is made for the tall people, not like me. I am almost hidden under the podium. I think this small room is small enough to listen my voice. Okay. But anyway, where's my talk? Oh, CD. Okay, computer vision is a technique to make your machine, your computer, to see like human being. Okay, and here I presume that you know little bit of computer vision. This no mathematics, nothing. Okay, but you have some idea with what this computer vision can do. Okay, and I will show some application basically using the computer vision techniques. Some of them are primarily based on the mathematical model and the logic behind it. So you have to have very rationally think of the problem and you can solve it. And at the end of my lecture, if I get time, I'll show some example that came into existence because of a path-breaking development in the machine learning technique. Now we call the deep learning. Around 2010, a system was developed we call the deep learning architecture, and that was used to develop many of the computer vision applications. I don't take you to be that kind of background. So I'll show some application area and the results only, okay, on that. But before that, what I want to mention that we, the human being, live in the three-dimensional world. That means every point or every object here are definitely is shown by the or represented by the three-dimensional coordinate system. So any point in this world is some kind of x, y, and z. So any point in the on the object or in the space can be represented by the three-element vector. There's a x, y, and z. Okay, but when you see with our eyes, this three-dimensional information is projected to two-dimensional plane. That's our retina. Though it's a spherical surface, but basically it is treated as a two-dimensional surface. And for the computer, the eye means the digital camera. And digital camera has a flat image plane where the images are formed. And from there, we use or implement some algorithms, some codes, so that computer can see the things, okay, in 2 dimension and also in the 3 dimension. Okay. So before I go for the actual presentation, let me tell you two very classic examples. Okay, and that is I just like to show here first, and then I go to the actual applications I'm going to present here. Okay. Okay. So this is a MeshLab software. Okay. And for your information, sorry. The result I am going to present is developed by a student of your university. Okay. And last year, probably last year, right? I taught here in one semester this computer vision. And one of the students in the class, okay, many people have created such model, 3D model, from a given a set of two-dimensional images, but what happened to it? Ah. Okay, this is a 3D model that was created by one of your friends in the last semester, and from a set of images, of course. Okay, so you can see this is a 3D model. This being just presented 2 dimensions. Okay. This is a one classic example application of computer vision, where we take a multiple images of an object from different point of view, and then from there the 3D model can be reconstructed. So in the next phase, we can identify what object it is. We can recognize that. Another application of classical computer vision, what we call this that is we call the object tracking or the motion analysis. Okay. So you can see the player with the orange jersey is being tracked. Wherever it goes, I can identify with the blue bounding boxes. And sometime later, we can change it to a player with a white jersey. We can also track him. Okay. And interestingly, even on the overlap, right, we still can successfully track that object. But these two are very fundamental, most important and useful application of computer vision, and people are working on that problem for decades, and now we can have the ready software in the internet. You can download and use that one. It was so straightforward, or so simple to do. Okay. So now what I'm going to some applications which are not that popular, or it is coming up more recent days, and for that we just try to understand what is our target here. Basically, we want to make our computer, make our machine as smart as possible, as intelligent as possible, relative to human being. So whatever human being can do the task, not only the arithmetic, addition, subtraction, that computer can do for many years. Now you want to make the computer intelligent and smart enough so that it can do the other kind of task. Okay? And we usually, human beings, do this intelligent task based on our experience, or our knowledge, and also based on the data we capture from the information we capture from the environment. Okay. Now we receive those information based on the 5 different sensors, eyes, nose, ears, tongue, skin, etc. And similarly, computer has similar kind of some of the sensors, and one of the important sensors in human being is eye. In case of computer, is a camera, digital camera. So from the digital camera, what the information computer receives, it tries to understand it and to recognize or identify the objects in the scene or any kind of activities going on there. And this is called in general, visual pattern recognition. Now this visual pattern recognition has led to what we more commonly call the computer vision, image understanding, scene analysis, pattern recognition. All these things are basically synonymous in terms of the topics covered. Okay. So here we'll talk about few applications. First one is the image completion, or we call very popularly in painting. Then multi-focus image fusion. Then sketch to photosynthesis, and then image retargeting. Okay. So probably these kind of applications are usually not very popular, but it's very useful, and many special cases these are being tried by many different algorithms. But finally, we'll talk about the other applications based on the deep learning technique. Uh, okay, so let's see how the images are formed. Just to make a kind of basic idea, there's a three-dimensional world. We have an object there, and there must be some light source. Here we have the artificial lights. Outside you have the sun, right? And from there, lights incident on the different objects in the scene, and depending on the reflectance property, that includes the surface orientation, color, reflective property, ityadi. Putting everything together, some amount of light is reflected from the object surface. Now that light reflected from the object surface is being intercepted by optical sensor. Okay? There could be other kind of sensors also that also produce the image. Image means these are two-dimensional visual representation of the object or the scene. Okay? So when we got this one, we get the images formed in the image plane of the camera or the optical sensor. Now this optical sensor of the image which is formed there in analog domain is infinite number of points and infinite different intensity values. Okay? So to make it possible to process by the computer, which is a finite memory, finite RAM, finite register size, etc., we have to digitize it. Okay? You know the two steps, sampling and quantization, the steps of the digitization. But I just give you the example. Those who are not really acquainted with the digitization process, you will understand simply. Okay. So suppose you have a two-dimensional scene. Okay, just a piece of paper. You have drawn some polygon there. Black polygon against the white background. Okay. What you will do is divide the whole image domain or the whole area by very small boxes. Okay. Now, each of these boxes are called the picture element of the pixel. At least you are very familiar with the term pixel, because when you go to buy a mobile, you always talk about the how many pixel camera, 12 megapixel camera, 8 megapixel, 20 megapixel camera. So you know the pixel. More the pixel, better is the quality of the image. But at the same time, more the pixels, you need more storage space, more processing power. Okay? So we have to do the compromise between a trade-off between our infrastructure and the application area. Okay? And we can do this. So once we have these pixels, we can make all the white pixel value 0 and all the black pixel value 1. Okay? But whatever the boxes which has partially black, partially white, we can easily find out the threshold. 0.5, half area is covered by the black is the 1, otherwise is a 0. So everything is converted to a 0, 1, 2-dimensional array of now. Okay. So though we are talking about the visual pattern recognition of visual information processing, we actually converted this visual information to some number. And computers are smart in handling the numbers. Okay? So it can process the visual information in terms. In case of what I call gray tone image or the gray level image, where not only two levels, only black or white, it can have the intensity values from black to white, many different intensity. So what we do, we assign some minimum values as 0 to black and some maximum value to say 255 to white. Okay, so all the in between intensity range, right, can be given appropriate numbers. So what is the specialty between 0 to 255? This 256 can be fit into a 8-bit byte. Okay, so that's the most efficient way to store the values and the process the values. In case of gray level image, so that if I if I just blow up a small box here, we'll see the integer numbers for each and every pixel value. Okay? So, in case of color image, what we can say that this color, any color, can be represented as a combination of three primary colors: red, green, and blue. I'm sorry, this should be appear as a red. I don't know. From this morning, it's somehow appears as a pink. But anyway, red, green, and blue. There's a for each pixel we have the three components. So you can assume that the pixels are arranged in a two-dimensional array. So a mathematician called it and say there's a matrix in case of gray level image. It's a tensor in case of color image, and the programmer will say it's a two-dimensional array of numbers, and each element will have a three-element vector. Okay, some kind of struct in C language. Okay. Now, when we get these images, either black and white or the color images, okay, that may not be of the very good quality. So we have to need to improve the quality of the image. And there are many different ways people are trying it. There's explored many different algorithms. We call usually those categories of image quality improvement. There's a kind of what you say, there's a image restoration, image enhancement. But we are not really talking about that. We're going a little different kind of basically the degradation of the image. Why is the image degraded? First one is the fault of the photographer. He could not focus it properly. He could not keep his hand steady. There are many different reasons. And maybe when he was taking the picture, the object was moving. Okay. So that may be a fault of the photographer. Suppose the photographer is a very smart, very experienced photographer, but the camera may be very poor quality, low resolution camera. Or it may be object is really in motion. There's nothing to help. Okay, either it's a moving on a linear track or curvilinear track, and sometimes the present of undesired object. Okay, suppose you want to visit the Taj Mahal and you want to take the picture of the Taj Mahal, only Taj Mahal. No, it's not possible. Because all the time tourists are moving around the base. So, many undesired objects is obscuring the Taj Mahal, at least the lower part. Okay? There are many such things happens, and sometimes you want to take the picture of a monument. Okay, it's a good quality picture should be there, but unfortunately, some part of the monument is broken or there is a crack. Right? What will happen? So it will picture will come with the crack. Right? So there are ways to rectify them. Of course, one way to rectify them is we call the correction and completion of the image. Right? And there are two approaches. One is the manual approach. You can load your image into the computer and then use an image editor, go on doing this manually. Okay, it is being done by many of the photo artists using the Photoshop editor or the Maya software, PaintShop Pro. There are many image editing software. Or you can write some program so that you can correct it through the program. We call it the computational approach. Okay? And that's why this kind of approach, along with the computational application, we also call computational photography. So nowadays, probably you are all acquainted with the pictures which are we call photoshopped. That means they taken the picture, loaded on the computer, then corrected or manipulated it using the Photoshop software. Okay, but you can do the good thing and bad thing with the Photoshop software. Okay. So when you do it manually, the Disarrangement is basically slow, tedious process, and always it's depends on a particular artist's own choice. Sorry. On the other hand, if you do it computationally, in that case, you will write a program, compute some mathematical formula or follow some logic, and that will be applied on the image, just a blindly. Okay. So in that case, perceptual flavor is missing. Okay. Artistic sense or artistic flavor will be missing. Anyway, we are talking about the first application, which is called the image completion, and in short is the image in painting. Okay, just consider these three examples. Number one, there's a old photograph, probably was in your family album, and because of old days, some insect or some chemical blown to it and made some kind of physical damage of the photograph. Okay? Or in the second case, you can see some cracks built on some temple area or in some monument. Or there is a very good natural scene, but this boy is doing a kind of bungee jump there, and that is covering a significant portion of the scene. I want to have the image without that. But unfortunately, I have already taken the picture and come back to my home, so I cannot go back take another picture. So this is the only picture available to me. So we consider this is a kind of area where my image on the natural scene is absent. Okay, in this boy area. Or in this fracture part, actual building material or the pixel color is missing there. Or it is missing there, the image information, color image information here. Okay. So what we will do, I will take the information from the rest of the part where it is intact, take there and put it in the missing information missing area. Okay. So let's think of this simple example. Suppose this is my image, okay, and some part of the image where the image information is the color and texture of the image is seen is present there. Unfortunately, this white part doesn't have this area. Okay. So what we'll do, I'll take some point on this boundary between this known area or the image area and this unknown area. Okay. On this boundary point, I'll choose any point. There is a defined methods of choosing that point. And in that point, I will define a square box. Okay. So in the square box, what will happen? Some portion of it is known and some portion of this was unknown. Okay. So now just think of it. Wherever you live in the locality, there is a school. Okay. And this school, suppose it's a boys' school. And they have the uniform is the yellow shirt and the brown trouser. Okay, so almost every boy is around that school. What you see, that's all are wearing the white, yellow shirt and the brown trouser. Okay, so see the boy is behind this ice cream store. Okay, and you can see his color of the trouser. But you can see the color of the shirt, that's the yellow. Okay. So if I ask you to predict what would be the color of the trouser, the answer will be it's a brown trouser. Okay. Because that's the highest probability in that area. So in that image, if this box is some part of it is already known, what will be the rest of the part? Okay. So what we'll do, I'll take the image like this one, choose a box, and then I'll try to compare this box with some part of the image. Okay? Is the known part and this known part same? Yes or no? If it is a no, I'll go move to some other location, some other location, some other location. So everywhere I go on looking. Okay? And everywhere I'll compare how much this known part is similar to that part of the image. Okay? And where I get the best match, most similar, the unknown portion will be copied and will be displayed here. Okay? So I can fill up this portion, unknown portion, by this part here from this box. Okay? So this way, what I can do, we can complete the image. I go now it's a new boundary is defined. Okay, so it's a new boundary is defined, and this part is already filled up. So I'll get another point and go on comparing the exactly same algorithm and come to that. I'll go on doing this, and finally I'll make the whole image complete. Okay. Now let's look at this simple picture. Okay. Oh. Ah. Pointer option. Okay, so what is it doing? It's basically on the border. It is taking a box. Some part is known and some part is unknown. So it finds which is the most similar, and from there it's going to fill up, and it's going on for the entire unknown region, okay? Level by level, and finally I come to the natural scene without the image of the boy. Okay, just let me repeat this one. Okay, and so this is the way we fill up this computationally. Okay, so we want just the algorithm, and we can implement that to fill up any image we want. So before that, we manually find out what is the area. We can of course do it automatically also, but usually we manually find out which area we want to fill up. So now you see the examples. This was the damaged image, and this is the corrected image. This is the damaged image. This is the area we mark out. Sorry, and this is the filled in image, and it's go on doing this. Okay, just crack area is filled up. Okay. For a interesting thing is before I go to the next slide, I tell you once a year I had some discussion with the Archaeological Survey of India, and they immediately requested, "Sir, please don't do it and publish it in the public domain." I said, "Why? What's the problem?" No, then they will tell, "Okay, this temple was intact in few years ago. You see this picture, and now it is broken. So ASI is doing all the nasty job there. Okay, so please don't do it much." Okay, another is a multi-focus image fusion. Okay, what is the problem? Problem is, all the camera in the front, we have the lens. For what? The focusing the object. And every lens has its own focal length. And based on that, it will focus some objects in front of, near to the camera. Then all the objects far behind will be out of focus. Right? Similarly, if I want to focus on the back row of the hole, what will happen? all the front row will be out of focus. If I want to make a single picture where each and every object will be in focus, then what you can do, either way to take very, very costly camera, or another way we can do it computationally, that will take multiple images where we'll focus on the first row, middle row, last row, okay, then combine them together. Okay. Now, how do I combine them? So logically we'll design the algorithm, then we'll just implement that. Okay. So let's look at the problem example first. On the left, you see this box is properly focused, but this Pepsi can is out of focus, it's a blur. You can understand it much better if you look at the Pepsi can in the next picture, and in that case, this is in focus and the box is out of focus. Okay. So basically, this is an automatic copy paste problem. Okay. Somehow, I'll find in two images which part is focused. I'll copy that part into my phase buffer. Okay. If I can do it successfully, then all the focused portion will come to this. Now, how do I know this? One portion of the block or one portion of the image, this image, is out of focus and this part is focused. Same part of the image, same part of the box, same part of the Pepsi can. How do I know that? Okay. Just look at this. There are many different ways. Okay. On the left, there is a picture with a very good focus. Okay. And on the right, the picture is out of focus. Okay. Out of focus means there's some kind of blur, averaged out. Okay. So if the intents are averaged out, their sharpness gone, their contrast is gone. Okay. The sharpness contrast is some kind of visual phenomenon. Mathematically, I have only the pixel values. Right? Can you suggest me the one particular measure that we can use to understand whether it's the averaged out or is a sharp? You all know. Difference between the consecutive pixels. This is a good one. Okay. Any other? Okay, let me show you an example, simple example. Okay. There are 10 pixels in the top row and the initial pixel 1, 1, 1, 1, 5, 1, then the immediately jump to some other value, so 9, 9, 9. So they are highly contrasted. 1 to 9, there's a quick jump. What you say is a successive, there's a. But when you take over a small area, what will happen? Many of the individual pixel differences 1 to 1, 0, 1 to 1, 0, 9 to 9, 0. Only one place is a 1 to 9, 8. So if I take the average out, we cannot have much. Okay? But the bottom row, we have 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is obtained from here by simple moving average. Okay. All the things are slowly smoothed out from 1 to 9. Okay. Now we calculate the variance. Right? Immediately what I get, in case of sharp contrast, there is a high variance. If the contrast or the focusing is bad, there is a low variance. So what I will do, I will take those two images, divide into small blocks. This blocks is n by n pixel, n square pixels are there. I will calculate the variance there, the corresponding block. Which block has the higher variance? I know there is a relatively better focus, I will copy to my buffer. If I go on doing this, I will generate the picture on the right, okay, where both the Pepsi can and the box are the in focus. Okay. So this is very simple algorithm and it can do the marvel. Okay. Another example, there are 3 different images, and then the first image, some portion is focus and all are out of focus. Here some part is focused, all are out of focus. Here some are focused, all are out. So if I combine these two, these 3 together, I will have the picture where every object is in focus. Okay. Then another application. These are very quick, just giving you the idea. I'm not going into detail of the algorithm. Okay. So, you know, we can draw the sketches, right? On a piece of paper, white paper, we can take a pencil and draw the lines, give some shading also, and that will create the sketches. Can we convert this sketch into a photograph like image? Okay. Before I describe the most basic elementary algorithm for this one, I hope you all are acquainted with what we call the basis vector. Do you know the basis vector? Okay. At least you're all the science students, right? That much I assume. Okay. Well, so suppose I just give you an example. This is not a place for giving definition, other things. Suppose you have a vector, 3 element vector, A1, A2, A3. This vector can be represented, or any A1, A2, A3 can have any real value. Okay, rational, irrational, integer, fractional, it doesn't matter. Any value, any real value. This can be represented as this form. Okay. In fact, this 100. Sorry, first one should be 100. Sorry for the typo. First one should be 100. Okay. So 100, 010, and 001 basically represent the x-axis, y-axis, z-axis kind of thing, or I, j, k in the unit vector. Okay. So addition of each of the basis vector scaled by some real number, if I put together, we will get the, okay. So given a set of basis vector, okay, which defines the whole domain, given a set of basis vector which defines the whole domain, so a 3-dimensional space is defined by this basis vector. Okay, we can represent any point there by linear combination of this basis vector. Okay, so given a sketch, suppose I have a set of basis sketch, right? I have a set of basis sketch. From where I got it, please don't ask me. Suppose God has given me, right? I have a set of basis. So any sketch you draw, I can represent them as a linear combination of this basis vector. And the scalar values, the weights are like this: C1, C2, Ct, Cn, etc. They are n basis sketch. Okay. Now, where do I get this sketch? I had a set of basis photographs. Then I caught hold of a very good sketch artist and given this photograph and asked him to draw the sketch from this. So for each sketch, I have corresponding photograph, right? So a sketch is represented as a linear combination of the basis sketch, and each basis sketch will have the corresponding photographs. What I can do, I have all these weights, I'll put this one, these weights into these photographs, combine them, I'll get that. Okay, that's a simple algorithm. Problem is to getting those set of basis images, photographs, right? Once I get that, drawing a sketch is not the problem, getting that, okay? So it's a very difficult to get that kind of set of basis photographs with it. All other photographs are just basically linear combination of that. It's not possible. What we can at most do, a small part of that, a small part of the human face probably can be represented as a set of basis photos or basis sketch. Okay. So what we do, we divide the whole sketch. This will not be, this will be I want to create. The top one, I have this sketch, okay, and I divide it into small blocks, and from there we pick up each and every block separately, okay, and suppose I pick up this eye, and this eye has a set of basis sketch of eyes, okay, not the whole face, only the eyes, okay, or the corner of the eye. So from there I can find out the combination of that. I can put that one. We have the corresponding figure, and from there I can pick up the best possible images and put it there. That will create my ultimate image. So basically what the idea is, previously it is translated to only a part of the image, okay, because basis photos is not possible. But the corner of the eyes, etc., that can be to some extent represented by a series of corner of eyes. Okay. Now we still have a problem. What I am doing here, I am taking the image, dividing it, okay, and each block is when taking up and trying to find out this. Now some faces are little elongated spherical face. Some faces are square face, right? So in case of elongated face, the block, so 3x4 block probably gives me, okay, third row, fourth column block probably gives me the left corner of the eye. But another image, the third row, fourth column may give the center of the nose, okay, because shape of the faces are different. Okay. So this is the basic problem. So some faces are little elliptical, it's a more elliptical, and this is a kind of square face. So we need to, when we have corresponding. Okay. Now what we do, we just pick up the very important points, okay, which can be easily identified, center of the nose, corner of the eyes, etc. Okay, and from there I define the geometric shape of the face. Now given a set of geometric description of the face, okay, from there I can find out the average geometric face shape of the face. Okay. So suppose there are left corner of the right eye had many different coordinates of the many points. If I take the average, I'll get the average coordinate of the all the left corner of the right eye. Okay. Similarly, I can generate the average shape of the face. Once I can generate the average shape of the face, and I have the individual average shape of the face, right? Immediately I can apply a geometric transformation so that I can map it to the average face. Okay. So given a face image, I can immediately map it to average shape of the face. Okay. So you see from the elliptical faces, it comes a little less elliptical. If the square face is a little more less square and it's a more elliptical face. So these are all they have the average face shape. Okay. Immediately exactly same transparency applied on the sketch images. Now we have the average shape of the all the sketch images divided into block. Now all the corner block is the same, they have the same coordinate. I'll generate that one. Then I'll go back to. So what is the idea? From the given the sketch, I'll go to the average shape. From there I generate the picture and then I apply the inverse transformation, inverse geometry to get back its original face geometry. Okay. So, this is another example. Okay. So this is the final result. So this is on the left, we have the given sketch. Then we go to the average sketch. Then we go to the average face. Then we can go to the original shape of the face. And this is the generated one and from the sketches. And this is the actual face from which this sketch was generated. Okay, this is the actual face or the ground truth from which this sketch was generated. So what we will get? No, there's a question. Fine, we understand all the shape and everything. How do you know the color? Skin color, right? Okay, that's basically we want to do those set of people whose skin color is similar, and I want to generate the face of the person whose sketch is given and the skin color is same of that set of the people. Okay. And the last image, suppose we have many different electronic devices at our disposal. Okay. We have the mobile camera or mobile phone for seeing the Facebook images, WhatsApp images, everything. Okay. We have my laptop. Your teacher might have, they might have a big computer screen to display the same size of same image. All these images, screens are of different sizes. But you transmit a single image, right? You have to fit it into the screen of the display device of different sizes. Okay. Now, when you transmit a small size image and you have to blow up, there are many different ways of zooming the image. We also call the super resolution image, etc. We can do. But what's if I making it smaller? Okay, and that's a big challenge. When you do it smaller, there are many different. So one is we can zoom out, okay, just opposite to zoom in, zoom out, so that it will be. What will happen? So every object will appear smaller because I'm zooming out. Okay. So might be we cannot see that in proper detail. Okay? In some applications, that's very important. Another way of doing it, we can keep the object size same. We just crop only the relevant portion to fit in my display device. Okay? These are simply called cropping. What happens? Full objects may not come. Okay? Or I can remove some irrelevant, unwanted regions. Okay? How do I do it? From the image, what I see, this portion and this portion doesn't have much information. There's a sort of smooth background. We can remove them and get the image of the same size and in the same size and that. Okay. So this is called the image retargeting. That means from the image we will remove those pixels which doesn't carry much information. Okay. Let's look at a very simple algorithm. Suppose this is a synthetic image. If I had this synthetic image on the left, and if I consider this particular path from the top to bottom, okay, this may not be straight, but the pixel along this line doesn't have any difference in the color. So if I remove them, no information is lost. Okay, so I can remove that and I can reduce the size of the image. Okay. Similarly, another way I can remove them and we can, but this line cannot be removed. Okay. So by this way, we can remove some portion of the pixel or image and resize or retarget the image into fit into. Here is an image. We remove some of the lines along the horizontal direction. May not be straight, maybe curvilinear, as shown in the red path, or we can make it smaller along in the number of row, or sometimes if that is so irrelevant, doesn't carry much information, if I even repeat it, image doesn't get any new information. So you can also repeat it. If I repeat it, what will happen? It will increase the size. If we reduce those, it will decrease the size. So here are some examples of reducing it in vertically. There are examples I can find out the lines. Okay. And I can have these picture turned to this one. Okay. It's elongated, but the shape of the object doesn't change. But if I cannot just stretch it, zoom it in particular direction. In that case, shape of the object will change. Okay. So scaling in horizontal direction and retargeting is different. So all these algorithms or all these applications are based on, you understand what is the logic behind the answer. But after the deep learning techniques come to an existence, what happens? We try to build up a convolution neural network of different architecture, maybe GAN, that is a generative adversarial network, recurrent network, etc. When the LSTM, everything is putting together or individually, they can generate the desired result. Okay, I'm not going into the detail, just showing suppose given a set of images and the convolution neural network followed by the fully connected neural net will generate the label for each of the images. Okay, it may not be the 100%, it will give the probability. For example, the first image, it is reflex camera with some probability. It may be Polaroid camera, some other probability. It may be a switch with some other probability. It may be combination lock with some other probability. Okay. It may be a second image, may be a abacus with some probability, and other things may be of some probability. So you can recognize, may not be 100% sure, but you can say the machine is sure this is this kind of object, and so on. This is basically the output of convolution neural network followed by the fully connected network. Okay. Generative adversarial network can generate the picture of human being, those who doesn't exist in this world. These are all generated fake images. Okay. So many people are get excited in what they get on the WhatsApp, video or images. Okay, please don't believe that without properly checking. They may be absolutely fake. Right. And the progress of this technology is in 2004, it was a image generated like this one. In 2015 is improved, 16 further improved, in went up improving, and now the 2009, you cannot distinguish between any photograph and this one. And this is done, absolutely, this is written the style GAN 2 network. Okay. Another example, suppose you have your picture in the childhood, when you was a very beloved one, parents want to take the picture, and after that you got naughty, not much attention was given, and some old age, someone can say, okay, how was I was looking in the teenage, right? There's no such photograph. Okay, so there is a technique. You can generate this all the in between images, or even sometimes you can predict what will be looking. Your appearance will be in at the age of 80. Still you have not gone there. Okay? So this is the aging of the faces. This is also generated from GAN network. Nowadays, I think many of the Charlie Chaplin movies you have seen is with color, but that's actually image or filmed as a black and white. So it's called the image colorization, or also called the image translation. Okay, image translation is a much general term. The specific term is image colorization, this particular thing. Another example of this one, okay, style transfer. The first image is the Mona Lisa drawn by Leonardo da Vinci. It's a realistic artist. The rightmost one is drawn by the Pablo Picasso, who is the founder of the Cubism style. Okay. Now your network can combine these two and draw the Mona Lisa using the Cubism style. Okay. You can transfer the image of a horse to an image of a zebra. Okay, just putting the texture on that. So there are many such applications which are going on using the deep learning architecture. Very interesting thing, but needs lots of mathematics and other programming expertise. So what I show, it has shown how the visual information is recorded and processed the image, and we use these digital images to generate applying some computation photographic type application. We also shown the results. It's and finally, some of the techniques are based on this deep learning. When you are gone through all the deep learning architecture, you can also generate your new architecture, new application, new results with this. Thank you. Any question? No question. Very good. Of course, there is nothing much. Yes. When the deep learning the images, and yes, you can do it. Using the deep learning, you can do that. You can do it through your mathematical modeling of the blurring process and apply the reversing that, right? It's not the linear transformation, but anyway, you can do the reversing. That is a age-old technique, is called the image restoration, and there are many different methods. If you can model the blurring process, your life is easier. You can apply the reverse process. If you cannot do it, even then, what we call the blind deconvolution technique. Okay, because blurring can be modeled as a convolution process. If you remember your, I don't know the present syllabus, uh, physical optics, okay? Probably you have studied the interference pattern, scattering pattern. Probably you have gone through the out of focus or the defocusing pattern also. There is a kind of Bessel function that can model this. Okay? If you can model your degradation with that one, then you know the basically defocusing is basically the convolution process over the rolling. If you know that, you can apply the deconvolution kind of. If you don't know, we call that blind deconvolution. That means I don't know the convolution kernel, but still I go on trying it blindly with little evaluation, slowly evolve the kernel and finally get the result. And deep learning does it. It's straightforward. Okay. Only problem with deep learning is you have to have too many examples for the training sample. Okay. That's very difficult to get. Okay. Any other question? Well, so it's a kind, yes. Yeah.
We are removing some part which is not important. So
Yeah.
how that is being decided, that which part is not important?
Well, there are many different ways of measuring that one. First one is you find some path, a sequence of pixels, right? You take the variance over that. If the variance is very low, we can immediately say there's a not much variation in the pixels, or you can take the path of the pixels, calculate the entropy. If the entropy is very low, you can say there's not much information. Okay, so from there, or even when I'm telling that when there is no information, yes, even with some information, you can forego. If you can measure entropy, if entropy less than this, I can forego that to for the sake of reducing the size of.
In some part may change the perspective of the picture. Whether it is important or not, like if two people are standing far away, but we remove the middle part, they come closer.
Yeah,
So it changes
and
the
immediately against the COVID protocol. Okay, it might happen, right? So take the pictures of 10 feet apart, but when you submit to the government, it's 1 feet apart, then immediately yes. Look, this is a technology. I'm telling you the method. Okay, how do you use it? A good thing for the bad thing is everything based on the application. I know. Okay. Yeah.
in the first part, we make the some part whether it is not available, we removing some portions. Suppose the boy we are removing. Now suppose in any case, it is not trustable actually totally. I think like suppose there is the signal in the road, and suppose we are catching that whether a car is blocking signal or not. And the signal it is guarded by a bird. If we remove the bird, we cannot check the color of the signal. So in that case, how it is done?
Okay, it's a kind of what I'm telling you that if I use the computational method, it will not really talking about the perceptual flavor, it will missing it. So having bird and removing bird, it depends on, suppose in a temple on top of that some birds are sitting there, okay. To many people, that's a very good thing that a bird is sitting there. My computational algorithm will remove that one, right? So that I want to see the temple and temple only. Okay. If I now it's my requirement. If I want to see the temple with the bird with other things that gives a something very pleasant to me, I'll be happy with that. If I want to remove that bird, I can use that. Okay.
No, actually, I was asking it whether we can any process so that we can know the color of the signal. Suppose the car is broken a signal, and from the CCTV we are checking whether it has actually broken or not the signal. But the bird is broken.
No, this is not the case here. There's a bird is booking the signal is then we have to think other some other technique. Okay, it's not this. And filling up the missing things is not always safe. I told you yes, it's not the track of the temple. What happens is basically in Vishnupur, have you ever seen that one, sir? There's a terracotta temple, right? So temple walls is really decorated with terracotta tiles, very beautiful figurines there. And naturally over the years, lack of maintenance, so many of the tiles are either missing or broken, damaged, some are stolen. So what they usually ASI do, they just put some remedy with a subtract things there because they cannot really put the tiles there. There's against their rules. Okay. So one experiment we had just shown this, we can create the tiles and fill it there. Then the ASI just jumped up. Please don't. People will say it was there and it was ASI has taken out and sold it. Yes, I think no other question. Because I don't explain much question because it's kind of fairy tales just to tell you the what kind of applications and some of the applications I just mentioned. Okay, thank you again.